Welcome to a broadcast of the recent Lorain County Commissioners' General Meeting. Unless otherwise announced, meetings are held Wednesday morning at 9:30 at the Administration Building, 226 Middle Avenue, 4th floor, downtown Elyria. These are public meetings and you are invited to attend. Agendas are posted prior to the meeting at www.loraincounty.us. Click on Departments to see the Commissioners page, then click on View Agenda.
Good morning. Can we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the July 19th meeting of the Lorain County Board of Commissioners. Our thought for the day is Proverbs 19, verses 18 and 19. Discipline your children while there is hope, otherwise you will ruin their lives. Hot-tempered people must pay the penalty. If you rescue them once, you will have to do it again. Commissioner Kalo?
Yep.
Got the dog.
Yep.
A big puppy.
Mama bear dog.
Come on, let's go. We'll show you off. Okay.
No.
I want to go for a walk. I want to go for a run.
Come here. Yeah.
Aww.
Our featured dog this week, 2-year-old female pit bull. She's available for adoption today. She was found in Elyria. She's got a great personality. She's going to make a great pet for somebody's family. We only have 23 dogs, so if you get a chance, stop by, find a new family friend. Come on, there you go. Come on.
Pits are mean, aren't they?
Oh. Come on, let's go.
Whoa. Oh, she's strong.
She likes Tim. Yes, she's very strong.
Wow.
That was good. Okay, Madam Clerk.
Under Resolutions Number 1, Investments.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Kalo.
Aye.
Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Appropriations.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Kalo.
Aye.
Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Transfers.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Kalo.
Aye.
Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Advances and repayments.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Kalo.
Aye.
Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Requisitions.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Kalo.
Aye.
Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
No travel bills.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Kalo.
Aye.
Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Under the Commissioners, authorize various personnel actions as indicated on the summary sheet for employees within jurisdiction of Lorain County Commissioners.
Mr. Cortez.
Thank you, Madam Commissioner. I do have a number of personnel issues, specific possible hires at 911, the collection center, IT department, that I'd like to discuss with the board. Also, an ongoing legal matter and potential purchase of real estate. All three topics will have on the Sunshine for executive session discussions. Excuse me, I'm a little bit of a cold. I would ask that at the conclusion of our regular meeting, we go into executive session, we talk about those items that I've specified. Thank you.
Thank you.
Approve and waive the reading of the minutes of July 12th.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Adopt the fiscal year 2018 Lorain County tax budget and approve as submitted in the tax booklet.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Under Children and Families, extend the purchase service contract with United Way of Greater Lorain County to support continuation of services as provided under Healthier Buckeye Grant received from Ohio Department of Job and Family Services in the amount of $177,864 effective July 1st, 2017 through December 31st, 2017.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Cortez.
Thank you. Commissioner, I do want to speak to this just for a moment. I'm grateful for the state for extending our ability to spend these monies. When I looked into this with United Way, it really wasn't completely their fault that we were pushing the deadlines and the resources weren't completely exhausted in the community. The state was slow to award the grant, and then when it got here, they already had ramped their process, and then we tried to include this money in the process. What we didn't want to do with this grant was simply pay for the services that were already being provided. This was supposed to be an enhanced service rather than a supplement to the currently existing services. So it was a little bit slow in adding an additional programming to that existed already. So that took some time, and it was a little disappointing that the agencies that were being funded vis-a-vis United Way didn't really completely engage as quickly as we needed them to do. So I'm not going to blame just United Way. It was the process itself was flawed from the beginning, starting with the late arrival of the grant funds, because it was well after the first quarter of the program start that the funds actually were awarded and came here. So the state originally was very stern in not wanting to extend past July 1st with these funds, but they finally gave most of the communities until the end of the year. I think a lot of folks were having problems exhausting these funds. So while we spent a lot of time putting a bad lip on the state occasionally for some of the things they do, I'm really grateful that we have an opportunity to deliver these services in Lorain County, and I'll be meeting with United Way. We spoke to Bill Harper on this for a few moments when we were in the same hallway together, but I'm going to sit down with him and make sure that we don't return any of these funds, and I'm comfortable with what he told me that won't happen. So
Good.
this is good for us.
Yep.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Ms. Kowski?
Aye.
Mr. Kayla?
Aye.
Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Under sanitary, certified that delinquent sanitary sewer accounts to the auditor for collection on the tax duplicate for year 2017, collection year 2018.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Kowski?
Aye.
Mr. Kayla?
Aye.
Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Under TB, declare it necessary to levy a tax in excess of the 10 mil limitation to provide funds for the operation of TB clinic pursuant to ORC 5705.03, Chapter 339 for 5 years, to be placed on the November 7, 2017 ballot for the duplicate year 2017, collectible in 2018 for 0.065 mils, and contracting for treatment of tuberculosis under Ohio Revised Code 5705.20.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
This is just a renewal, no increase.
Correct. We should talk for a moment to the private-public partnership. Several years ago, we were collecting almost twice this amount of money. We tried to contract the services that were being provided by, at the time, a governing board with several employees. They were resistant to that, so the board felt it was a better way of providing these services, and at that time you disbanded the governing board over the tuberculosis services, and we went with a Mercy Hospital in their infectious disease program. It's proved very valuable to the community. We're able to reduce the cost by 60% initially. It's hard to qualify it today. It's still less than 50% of what we were paying several years ago. I meet with them annually. I'm very pleased with the services they provide. This is a mandatory expense. Folks may think, well, TB 2017, what's this all about? This is an ancient thing. You don't hear much about it, but TB is very alive, very active in the community. The reason you don't hear a lot about it is it's taken care of very quickly and suppressed very quickly. There is very resistant strains of TB out there. It wouldn't take very much if those strains aren't controlled to have an epidemic of TB once again. But the Ohio Revised Code makes it mandatory that each community, each county Board of Commissioners pay for treatment for TB and services for TB. So whether it comes out of this levy, which has been in existence longer than I've been in this county, or it comes out of the general fund, it will be paid for. You must pay for this. It's a small price to pay to keep potential epidemic disease out of our community.
Infectious disease, Dr. Paul Murray does a great job. Him and his staff over there at Mercy, they really do. So
It's one of the very few taxes that have been reduced over the years. We, like you said, we're collecting less from taxes to do the same service, so.
I looked real hard at the numbers coming in. I think we can make another 5 years with the dollars that we were collecting 10 years ago. We got to make the relationship work, and I'm satisfied that we're going to get to the end of the road with the current existing dollars. We're not asking for a dollar more than we did 10 years ago. So hopefully, the taxpayers understand that it's required.
Yeah, and I appreciate you pointing that out, because I think, as you said, there's that public perception that TB has gone away when it hasn't, and when it does show up, it can spread rapidly, and I think the approach that's been used to reduce the cost but still provide the service is there, and the important thing is the state's going to make us require us to do it, and so it's something that needs to be done.
Ms. Kowski?
Aye.
Mr. Kayla?
Aye.
Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Mr. Cortez?
That was pretty quick. Excuse me again this morning. I'm a little I'm a lot under the weather. I've been all week. I have two things I need to do this morning. As you know, we have been looking for additional support at 911. We lost our outside consultant. I've been having a few sleepless nights. We've started developing our own, pardon me, internal IT resources, but I didn't expect that to bear some fruit for the first year or two as we move more to a self-sufficiency model. And unfortunately, time wasn't on our side, and we lost our outside support. We've vetted some different supports groups from outside. We're comfortable with this one. It was a team approach with the IT, the 911 folks, myself. I'm asking that you approve this contract. I'm sorry I didn't get it on the agenda, but we were doing the last bit of our due diligence on it. I want to sleep tonight knowing that I have an resource for some of this in case we have a problem at 911. Again, we have worked on a lot of this internally, but we're not prepared yet to go to that sufficiency model that doesn't require additional support. These folks come highly recommended, that they've worked on 911 equipment in various places in the state. And this is a contract that is by assignment.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Any further discussion? Ms. Kowski?
Aye.
Mr. Kayla?
Aye.
Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
The second piece, and I should have had this on a PO, but I had to sit with my files from last week. I briefly talked to each one of you about needing a little assistance while our supervisor at the collection center's out, to be able to make sure that the materials are sorted correctly. I went to CT Environmental, a long-term relationship there, for somebody to be over there.
GT.
That's what I meant.
Right.
You're supposed to understand that.
CTs are
You're supposed-
consultant for engineering,
yes.
so
You're
GT, I
supposed
want to
to-
make sure it's right.
You're supposed to understand
Interchange.
that. But thank you. It's for a few weeks. You got to make sure that the right materials end up in the right barrels over there. The folks at the collection center are good employees, but they don't operate that level. The supervisors is the one that makes sure that everything is sorted correctly, packaged correctly, so that when we do send our hazardous chemicals out, we don't have problems. And I do need somebody with that knowledge. It's a short-term contract to provide those services until Mr. McGuire returns from his family medical leave. I should have had it on through the PO, but I don't want to wait until next week again.
Right.
We're
Can we
operating
talk
every
about out
day.
here how we have a relationship with DD to help us at the collection center?
Sure,
I think, didn't you kind of try to get that implemented?
1 second.
Okay.
I can speak to that. The folks from DD, and as you know, I used to work at a DD.
Developmental disabilities?
Yes,
Okay.
sorry. Go ahead, pick on the sick guy this morning.
No, DD,
the,
nobody has a clue what DD is. what we're
Well, Department of
talking up here.
Disabilities, formerly the MRDD.
Right.
They have the VOC workshops, and a lot of folks that are provided services through the DD can work out in the community. Just got to be given an opportunity. There are some limitations, but finding those opportunities are very challenging. We have work that's rather routine, and we've worked into a relationship where they provide workers, they provide job coaches to work with the folks that come from DD. to unload the vehicles and stack the materials. They don't do a lot of the sorting of the materials, but certainly there's tasks out there that can be performed very, very easily by the folks from DD, and we have several of their consumers from the agency out working for us, and I'm very pleased with our relationship. But we have two actually relationships with them. We also have folks from DD working at Job and Family Services. They take care of most of the custodial needs over at the Job and Family Services building, and that relationship has existed for quite a while also. There's plenty of opportunity. If anybody's listening to this at home, watching our meeting, they believe they have some tasks that are routine and repetitive. That's usually what works best. Please contact us, and we'll put you in touch with the folks out there. All they need is an opportunity. Self-sufficiency is a wonderful thing. That's all people want, and a hand up, not a hand out. And so I'm real proud of our relationship out there and our ability to offer that people that self-sufficiency and that hand up.
And they're very proud of their work, too.
Yes, they are.
Ms. Kowski?
Jerry, didn't have anything?
Oh, you gotta vote on this.
Oh, I'm sorry. Motion to approve.
Second.
Any further discussion? Ms. Kowski?
Aye.
Mr. Kayla?
Aye.
Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Mr. Ennis? Is that it, Jim?
It is. Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Ennis?
Commissioners, I do have several issues of pending court action that I would like to discuss with you in executive session.
Okay.
Commissioners report.
Well, first and foremost, my grandson Gavin's birthday is today. He's 9 years old.
Wow. That's a cool
Getting
age.
so big. I know. Next year you're going to be double digits. It's crazy. So
How is it you're still 40?
I know. He's the youngest grandma on earth, I think. So, so this week I had my community corrections board met. Also stepping up meeting with all those who are working directly and indirectly with people who have mental health issues. We're working on ways to keep these individuals from getting into our justice system, because a lot of times once they get in, they spend a lot more time than the average person. So I also had a meeting with our dog warden, Greg Wiley from the APL, one of our very dedicated volunteers at the dog kennel, Tori Mittler, who does our Facebook page and also is one that gets all the dog food at the kennel. We don't even buy dog food anymore. Anytime we start getting low, Tori puts out a message to everybody, and by the end of the day, we have dog food. So, and Michelle Reichland from Fido's Companion, who is a rescue group that transports our dogs to the vet for them to be spayed or neutered. She also picks up a lot of our sick and injured dogs and gets them vetted as well. We're mostly brainstorming on ways to improve our operations so that when we're getting near to be full of our capacity, it's been almost 3 years since we have had to put a dog down due to space, and I certainly want to keep it that way. We also talked about having a vet walk through once a week so we can administer medications ourselves instead of having to take them to the vet, because a lot of those medications, the dogs had to be seen by the vet in order to get that medication if it's needed. So. Leary Democrats had a picnic up at Hilltop. I didn't eat much there because after that was the Best of Lorain County, which was jam-packed with people and all kinds of great things going on in Lorain County. If you haven't been to it, you should really try to get there next year. We're outgrowing the college space. It's pretty packed, and but it's really a nice event. So. Really showcasing all the great things going on in Lorain County. And then a couple days this week I was at the funeral home and funeral for Doris Kokoski, my mother-in-law of 21 years. She was a great lady, and got to see a lot of people and family and friends that I hadn't seen in a long time. So my thoughts and prayers go out to the entire Kokoski family for the loss of their mother, Doris. Enter my report.
Yeah, busy week. Again, fantastic job, Best of Lorain County. Again, it's good to be commissioners a part of that. It was a great turnout as always.
You saw our new stands and
Right.
materials for folks, and trying to more educate people on the programming and the things that we do and the outreach component. So I was very pleased with what our folks did and our show up from our employees and the things that they provided there.
Also, again, congratulations, Larry Dem's nice picnic. Congratulations, Sheffield Lake Community Days Parade went off without a hitch. Fine job out there. Again, Mayor Bring's doing a great job in Sheffield Lake, and everybody helps put that community days and parade yard. Again, everybody turns out for it. Nowaka, we had our policy committee meeting, all of when Taylor was talking about everything we have to do moving forward now that we've got our long-range transportation plan done. Also, what else do we have on here? Oh, Chamber Board met yesterday morning, a follow-up on their Economic Development Conference, where they had 230 people show up, sort of like replaced, I guess, the Groundhog Day. I wasn't able to attend, I was out of town that day. But a lot of discussion when they did the feedback from the community. I don't know if either one of you had got a chance to make it. They did feedback from the community, the business community on what's needed. Again, it comes down workforce development and training. We're talking about internships. And again, the business community isn't familiar with what we actually do as county government. I talked about them and actually sent one lead to Mr. Romancic yesterday on a piece of property that needs to go on our list where we have, if you have available commercial property, it goes on a list that either qualifies for the state of Ohio Jobs Ohio list or fits in another list that we have of available commercial properties. But again, a lot of talk about internships and how we're going to move the county forward, filling the jobs skills gap, trying to fill jobs. Also, condolences to Don Addy and his family. His father, Blackie Addy, passed away. Longtime friends and family and customer, just great people. Don's was our Veteran Service Commission, and condolences Commissioner Lundy on the passing of his father. End of my report.
Thank you. Yeah, I'd like to send out sympathy and condolences to Don Addy and the passing of his father, and want to thank everybody for the prayers and the words of support for my father. He passed away Saturday at Mercy Hospice, and want to thank the staff there at Mercy Hospice. I got to tell you, those are amazing people. I don't know how they do that job, but everybody was just so understanding, passionate, gentle, just a great group of folks over there. And I always say that much like the Frank Sinatra song, I did it my way, Dad did it his way, and he wanted to stay home and stay independent as long as possible, and you know, he even made the decision for himself to go to hospice. And we're going to have a visitation on Monday, next Monday from 4 to 7 at Masenchik, and then Tuesday there will be a mass at St. Joe's in Avon Lake, and then he'll be interned at Rittman Cemetery. Next, let's see, Best of Lorain County. Boy, what a great event. That's just awesome. And, you know, as I've said before, when when people say, oh, there's nothing to do in Lorain County, nothing to see and do, wow. You got to open the door of the house and step outside, I think. Take a look around, because there's plenty of good things to see and do, and I was just thrilled to be a part of that. We have a great county here with lots of great things to do, good people, and just a great quality of life. So couldn't get any better. The Elyria Dems, congratulations to them on their cookout there at Hilltop. Sometimes it's nice just to sit down and have a hot dog and hamburger and socialize, and thankfully the weather worked out. Didn't make it to the Sheffield Lake days. Thank goodness the weather worked out for the parade as well too.
I told Mayor Brink he just spread his arms and
Yeah,
clouds broke up.
I see. He controls the weather.
Yeah.
But yeah, Mayor Brink doing a super job over there. We've really enjoyed working with him on our lakefront plan that we're working on, and let's see, on Thursday night we have a Township Association meeting in Amherst, and then I guess kind of on a personal note, I guess I just wanted to express my dissatisfaction with Superintendent Jeff Graham not being one of the finalists for the CEO over in Lorain. I think that the teachers, the leadership team, and the superintendent have all been working very hard to improve that school district. I think it's clearly showing a record of improving. The reality is that the state always, if you were a high jumper, they keep moving the bar higher, lower, to the left, to the right, and it makes it difficult for any organization to succeed. But I just want to commend the teachers, the staff, the superintendent for the job they've been doing, but was very disappointed that Superintendent Graham was not one of the finalists. I also want to caution the citizens of Lorain, having worked in the legislature and having seen the report cards and the performance records of charter schools, that they are not good for our children. At last report, when I left the legislature, only about 24% of the charter schools were performing at or above expectations. And regardless of your politics or party affiliation, the bottom line is it always needs to be about the kids, what's best for the kids. And I strongly believe that charter schools are not good for the kids. We need to provide better resources for public schools, and that simply isn't being done. I do believe that Columbus' agenda is to make public schools look bad, somewhat weak, and so that they can promote and prop up and grow charter schools in Ohio, which I think at the end of the day won't be good for our children. You know, I think we've seen some examples here recently, just even with ECOT, when they brought back the online schools. I was still down there and said, why would we be coming back to this? We got rid of them because they weren't monitored properly, and the kids weren't being served properly, and didn't take a long time, did it, to realize all the games that were taking place down there with the online schools. So I just want to tell the residents of Lorain, continue to speak out for some type of local leadership, because local leadership, I think, is critical. Be thankful for the hard work that everybody's been doing in the Lorain schools. And I think, if nothing else, I think Superintendent Graham should at least be given a one-year try as the CEO, see how it works. He already knows the system. You know, you bring somebody new in, it takes them a couple of years to get acclimated. But you know, Lorain is our main city here in the county, or the largest city, and I just think charter schools would be devastating for the city of Lorain and for this county.
Board correspondence? Oh, no, I'm sorry. Commissioner sent a proclamation to Mary Gesman, 18 years at JFS, and then Tuesday we'll have our conference call for investment advisory. Board correspondence?
Move the reading be waived.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Kowski?
Aye.
Mr. Kayla?
Aye.
Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Public comment?
Anybody wishing to address the board this morning? Nobody? Oh,
And we noticed
We
you got
have a
here very
taker.
early this morning.
Yeah, he didn't.
you didn't want to miss it.
Didn't want to miss anything.
You have a boring life then,
Yeah, I was gonna
Jerry.
say,
I
we
just
need to-
thought about it.
Need to work on your activity schedule there.
Gerald W. Phillips, 461 Windward Way, Avon Lake, Ohio. Last week, a gentleman from the audience wanted to know what evidence there was about the low approval rating and dissatisfaction with the commissioners. Well, I think you can look at 7,867 signatures on the District 7 petition. Also, we've got 9,000 signatures on the sales tax petition. I personally got 1,600 signatures, and in that process, I talked to 1,600 people, and I've heard what they, comments were, and I think that's an affirmation of the fact that they're unhappy currently with the situation. I even talked to Commissioner Ted Kalo's brother-in-law, who signed a petition. And I think if, some of the comments are, 2 commissioners were elected in November, and then they turn around very shortly afterwards, and they passed the sales tax increase after 80% almost voted against it. If those one commissioner who won a very close race was up for election today, I don't think that commissioner would get elected again. And also, besides my experience with the signatures, a fellow petitioner, Ethelyn Kennedy, is here, and she's gathered 2,200 signatures. And I'm sure she would echo the same sentiments. So, you can not believe, that or not, but I think that's sufficient evidence that the residents in Lorain County, taxpayers, are not very happy. Thank you.
We load up